God is saying to you, my beloved child, I speak to you now in the quiet hush of Christmas Eve, a night thick with wonder and anticipation. Let your heart settle for a moment away from the rush of preparations and the flurry of thoughts. Take a slow, gentle breath. With each inhale, remember that I am nearer to you than you can imagine, eager to fill your soul with warmth and reassurance. Yes, child of my heart, I have always been, and I will always be long before the stars were set in the sky. I knew you. I spoke your name into the vastness of eternity, delighting in the thought of who you would become. There is something sacred about this night, about the hush that falls across the world. As hearts everywhere look toward the miracle of Christmas, it is as though the very air vibrates with the promise of hope. Even if your day has been full of noise or your mind has been clouded by worry, allow yourself to sink into the truth that I exist outside of time, yet I enter into it willingly to be with you. When the heavens were stretched out and the earth formed, I was there, and in this sacred moment, I am here with you. Still feel my voice not as a distant echo, but as a gentle stirring deep within you. I am the Eternal One, yet I choose to make my dwelling in human hearts. I am enthroned above the universe, yet I bend close ready to speak into your life. Let that fill you with awe, for you matter to me more than you can comprehend tonight, as the world quietly waits to remember my arrival in Bethlehem. Know that I speak your name just as clearly as I spoke life into the darkness at the dawn of creation. Understand that I have no limits, no boundaries, no constraints. I transcend every era, every generation, and every season, including this very one, filled with lights, songs, and celebrations. Yet amid all that wonder, my greatest desire is to meet with you personally here and now. I want you to sense my nearness as tangibly as you feel the cool night air on your face. Let your heart resonate with the knowledge that I'm not merely a story told at Christmas. I am the love that gives Christmas its meaning. Perhaps you feel unworthy of my attention or struggle to believe that I could care so deeply about. You know this from the beginning. I crafted every part of your being with meticulous care. You were never an afterthought. You have always been at the center of my heart. My faithfulness does not waver based on what you do or do not do. Like a parent holding a newborn, my love envelops you tenderly, cradling every hope, every tear tonight of all nights. Allow that reality to settle. My greatest joy is to be near you, no matter what burdens you carry. Yes, I am the eternal voice, calling out across the chasms of time. But I am also the whisper in your soul. Listen as I speak words of peace to your anxieties. You are not alone. Let my reassurance wash over you. I have a plan for your good. You need not understand all the twists and turns of your journey. It is enough to trust that I hold your future. My vision for you extends far beyond what you can see in this fleeting moment. And though the night may be dark, my light is always ready to illuminate your next step. Look at the manger scene. So many reflect on during this season, the vulnerable child, the guiding star. The quiet reverence of that holy night in that story lies a picture of my heart for you. I became small and fragile so that you might grasp my humility and my nearness. Even when your life feels fragile, even when uncertainty tries to overwhelm you, remember I stepped into human frailty by choice, demonstrating that no struggle is beneath my concern. I see your yearnings in the depths of your weariness. Let me be your strength as you pause to meditate on this night. Consider all the ways I have already woven goodness into your story. The loving touch of a friend, a long-awaited answer, or even the silent comfort of knowing you're still here, still breathing with hope on the horizon. Each of these is my voice, speaking into your life, reminding you of my presence. Sometimes the greatest miracle are not the ones shouted from rooftops, but the quiet realizations that I have walked beside you all along. Child of mine, open your heart to the possibility that I want to commune with you intimately, in the tapestry of your life. Every strand, both the bright threads and the darker ones, can be woven into something exquisite. If you let me guide the loom, hand me your disappointments, your regrets, and even your lofty dreams in return. I offer you a fellowship unbounded by time, a conversation that never has to end through daybreak and dusk, through moments of triumph and times of confusion. My voice gently persists. I am with you. I am for you in this sacred pause. Before Christmas Day, allow yourself to be enveloped by my everlasting presence. Let the countdown to morning be more than just hours ticking away. Let it be a countdown to deeper intimacy with me. Listen truly. Listen to the stillness in your soul. My spirit is stirring there, ready to pour out comfort, joy, and purpose. I have seen your struggles, your tears, and your quiet moments of wonder. I have celebrated your victories and stood close during your failures. Nothing about you escapes my notice, and nothing can loosen my hold on your life. So find rest in me. Tonight, let the world's demands and your own expectations dissolve into the gentle truth that you are loved, chosen and treasured by the one who has no beginning and no end. In this instant, allow my peace to settle over you like a soft blanket against the cold. Let every breath you take usher in a renewed awareness that I have always been. I will always be, and I will never cease calling out to you with a voice tender yet powerful, ancient yet intimately present. This is my desire, that you would embrace the life I breathe into you, letting go of fear and stepping into the fullness of love I offer. Let this Christmas Eve mark a turning point where doubt is overshadowed by the comforting warmth of divine companionship. Let gratitude replace anxiety and hope. Place uncertainty for I am here, unchanging and everlasting. Whispering into the recesses of your heart, you are precious and I am yours. I speak to you of a small, unassuming town, Bethlehem, where an event of unimaginable significance took place. Picture the landscape. Dusty roads winding through rolling hills. A night sky shimmering with silent stars. In the midst of this humble setting, I chose to enter the world in the form of a tiny, fragile child. This was no accident of circumstance, but a deliberate act of love, showing that my heart is for every person. Whether they stand in palaces or labor in hidden corners of the earth, by selecting such an unremarkable place, I proclaim that even the most overlooked among you are precious to me. Imagine the manger scene, the warm breath of animals huddled in a dimly lit stable, the sweet scent of hay mingling with the cool night air. My arrival was not accompanied by fanfare from earthly kings or the applause of great crowds. Instead, the stillness of night was broken only by soft cries and whispers of awe. This quietness was part of the message: I do not need grand stages to reveal my power in Bethlehem's darkness. My light broke through, illuminating a path of hope for all who yearn for something beyond the boundaries of what they see. Think of the shepherds, rough hands and weathered faces, faithfully tending their flocks. Under the canopy of the heavens, they were not scholars or nobles, yet they received the most glorious announcement. Angels filling the night sky with triumphant praise. These hardworking souls became the first witnesses of my birth, a reminder that I do not measure worth by status or renown in their ordinary tasks. They found themselves face to face with the miraculous when you feel too insignificant for something great. Remember, these shepherds know that I stand ready to reveal my wonders to those who remain open and watchful, no matter how mundane their daily life may seem. Now consider the angelic proclamation, a chord of voices, declaring glory to God in the highest, and on earth, peace to those on whom his favor rests. This celestial song carried my heart to the far corners of creation. I came to bring peace, not a shallow sense of ease, but a peace that reaches into the deepest recesses of human longing. Even in a turbulent world, this peace stands unshaken because it emerges from my eternal love. It invites you to lay down fears and anxieties at the manger. edge trusting that I am both infinitely powerful and incredibly near the wise men. Or Magi also point to a truth that transcends time. They journeyed over unknown lands, guided by a star to find a child who would change the destiny of every nation. They brought gifts that whispered of royalty, divinity, and sacrifice: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Their long winding tray speaks to every seeker of truth. Follow the light. I provide, no matter how distant the road appears. My invitation extends across borders and cultures. There is no one beyond my reach in Bethlehem. You see the union of heaven and earth, revealing that I will go to any length to reconcile you to myself. My birth in that small stable marked the beginning of a greater story of salvation. Do not see the manger as a standalone scene. It foreshadows my plan to rescue humanity from the chains of sin and despair. I arrived not merely to experience the world's brokenness, but to heal it, to carry burdens you could never lift on your own. The star that guided travelers across foreign landscapes is the same symbol of hope that now guides you through uncertainty, just as the light shone on Bethlehem's fields. My light is ready to shine on the hidden places in your heart, offering clarity and transformation in choosing such a modest entry point. I proclaim that I draw near to the lowly, the overlooked, and the lost. No stage was too small, no corner too dark for my arrival. This powerful truth remains relevant today. If you ever feel that you inhabit a quiet Bethlehem of your own, an unremarkable place or season, remember my willingness to be born where few expected greatness. In my kingdom, greatness often begins in the unnoticed details. Give me your ordinary moments and watch as I infuse them with purpose that surpasses anything you might imagine. Let your imagination linger on that stable. One more time, the flickering lamplight, the whispered lullabies of a mother holding her newborn, and the awe in the eyes of each onlooker. This scene was not meant to remain an ancient tableau locked in time. It serves as a mirror, reflecting my heart for you. If I came in such a humble way, can you not trust that I understand your vulnerabilities, your pains, and even your hopes? My empathy is not an abstract concept. It is woven into every aspect of my incarnation. The manger is proof that I identify with your struggles as intimately as I celebrate your joys on this special night. Remember that the gift of Bethlehem was and is so much more than a momentary event. It stands as an everlasting invitation to draw near, to glimpse the love that moved me to step into human history with such simplicity. Let the image of that night resonate in your soul. Let it remind you that I see you, that I care deeply for you, and that you too can play a part in the grand story of redemption. I am unfolding even now. All of heaven resonates with that angelic chorus, urging you to come and behold what I have done. The angels who rejoiced then rejoice still. For my love has not diminished. My gift extends across centuries, across culture, and across every doubt you have carried. The child in the manger would one day become the Savior on the cross, bridging the gap between eternity and your fragile, beautiful life. And in so doing, I offer you a mercy that never runs dry, a grace that knows no bounds, and a hope that outlasts every night. This is the gift of Bethlehem, a love that rewrites your story and invites you into a promise that will not be broken. I speak to you now, with a message so rich in promise that it can transform the way you see yourself and the world around you. I dwell within you. Think of that. My spirit abiding in the depths of your heart, offering guidance and comfort that is both profoundly personal and infinitely powerful. When you hear the phrase Christ in you, the hope of glory, it is more than a lofty ideal. It is a living reality. I am not distant observing from a remote throne. Rather, I have chosen to make your heart my home, journeying alongside you through the joys and challenges of life. Let this truth sink in as you face each day. Often the weight of your daily responsibilities can leave you feeling isolated or overwhelmed. But if you pause long enough to breathe, you may sense a gentle stirring within, reminding you that you are not alone. I, the one who defeated death and triumphed over darkness, am closer to you than your own heartbeat. My nearness is not reserved for times of worship alone. It permeates every task, every conversation, every moment of reflection. When you awaken in the morning, whisper a greeting to me, acknowledging that we will walk together. Such a awareness of my presence naturally leads to a deeper intimacy. You might ask, how can I nurture this connection? It begins by creating small spaces in your day where you can simply be with me. Moments of quiet surrender amid the busyness. In the same way you might pause to watch the sunrise or appreciate a sudden burst of birdsong, you can pause to sense my whisper in your soul. These pauses need not be lengthy, but they are vital. Each silent interval becomes a meeting place between your heart and mind, where I can gently shape your thoughts and emotions. Do not be surprised if, as you develop this rhythm, you begin to notice subtle shifts within my spirit. Delights in rewriting old narratives of fear or inadequacy, replacing them with assurance and purpose. My voice counters the world's harsh criticisms with a gentle reminder that you are beloved, called to walk in my grace, rather than mere self-reliance over time. You may catch glimpses of how I am at work, not only in you but also through you, bringing peace, kindness, and reconciliation into places where strife once reigned when worry looms large. Remember that you have a source of hope more potent than any problem. Do not let anxiety convince you that you must shoulder life's burdens alone. My spirit stands ready to provide strength, clarity, and comfort. But I will never force myself upon you. The choice to receive my help rests in your hands. Open your heart, share your worries with me, and watch as I guide you step by step. Sometimes my leading will come as a sudden insight or a quiet conviction that steers you away from harmful paths. Other times it will come through a sense of peace. P.E. that defies logical explanation. Consider how the early disciples felt when I told them that I would send the Comforter. They were fearful, uncertain of their future, yet their hearts burned with hope. That same promise is yours today. My Spirit's presence is not a relic of history, but a current dynamic reality. I did not abandon you to figure things out on your own. I equipped you with my very life, just as I once calmed storms with a word. So my Spirit can still calm the turbulence that arises in your mind. Let me remind you of my unchanging faithfulness. When life's waves threaten to capsize your peace, to cultivate this awareness, try incorporating simple prayers into your routine. Lord, show me how you see this situation. Help me respond with your grace. Teach me to rest, even when I'm surrounded by the noise of demands. Such prayers offered sincerely tune your heart to my frequency. You'll find yourself becoming more patient, more compassionate, and more confident in my sovereignty, even when answers do not come in the manner you expect. Over time, you'll develop an expectancy that I will move in and through you, transforming your daily experiences into sacred encounters. In moments of stillness, allow yourself to dream. With me, picture the potential of your life, not as a solitary effort, but as a divine partnership. My Spirit aligns your gifts and passions with kingdom purposes that extend beyond earthly limitations. Through the quiet nudge of intuition, you may feel compelled to reach out to someone who needs encouragement, share a comforting word, or pursue a dream you once thought impossible. My presence equips you to be a vessel of my love, even in the most ordinary of tasks. Responding to emails, driving to work, or caring for a loved one, every step becomes an act of worship when done in concert with me. And remember this: the hope I bring is not a fragile wish. It is anchored in my victory, which ensures that darkness does not have the final word. The phrase "Christ in you," the hope of glory, declares that I am actively renewing you from within, preparing your heart for an eternal reality. Yes, this life holds struggles, But your story does not end in brokenness. My spirit within you is the down payment of a coming glory, a reminder that one day all will be made right. Even now, you get to experience glimpses of that future reality as my joy and peace flood your soul. So walk with a quiet confidence, child of mine. Let my life within you be your guiding star, your compass through uncertain territory. When you face discouragement, recall that you carry more than your own determination. You carry my spirit who will never leave you nor forsake you. As you learn to live in this awareness, you become a beacon of hope to those around you, a testimony that love incarnate still walks the earth through hearts surrendered to me. Today, breathe deeply. Open wide the doors of your soul and allow my presence to fill every chamber. This is the essence of Christ in you, the hope of glory. Let it shape your identity, your actions, and your dreams. For in this truth lies the power to transform your entire life. I speak to you now, echoing the ancient cry, once heard in desert winds. Prepare the way for the Lord. Make straight paths for him. This invitation is both timeless and deeply personal, calling you to clear the clutter that is gathered in your soul in a world brimming with obligations and noise. It's easy for my voice to be muffled or nearly drowned out. Yet I long to meet you in the hidden places of your heart, restoring vitality and joy to a faith that may have become tangled in the thickets of routine. Will you pause and let these words settle? Prepare the way it suggests an active role, an active clearing of making, ready of creating space for something holy to unfold. Think of your life as a garden that needs tending. Weeds of distraction can overtake the flowers of devotion, if left unchecked to prepare your life for my presence. You must identify the weeds, those habits, anxieties, or pursuits that pull you away from meaningful connection with me. Begin with honest reflection. How do you spend your time, and where do your thoughts wander? Most, if you find that fears and trivial pursuits dominate your mind. Take heart. Recognizing the clutter is the first step in uprooting it. I do not ask for perfection, only a willing heart that says, I am ready to be clear. Clean and cleansed in John the Baptist's day. People flocked to the Jordan River confessing their sins and longing for a fresh start. They recognized that making room for my arrival meant realigning their lives. True repentance, changing one's mind, and direction became the key to unlocking a new relationship with me, in the same way as you notice the unnecessary baggage you carry. Old grudges lingering, guilt or unproductive guilt. Let me wash them away. Do not hold on to them out of habit or fear. Release them into my care, trusting that I am both powerful enough to handle them and gentle enough to guide you forward. This act of clearing away distractions isn't about depriving you of what's good, but about freeing you to embrace the best. Often the pursuit of fleeting pleasures leaves you spiritually malnourished, craving something deeper yet unsure of how to find it. But in making space through repentance and intentional focus, you open the door for my spirit to breathe new life into long, stagnant corners of your heart. Imagine standing beside a stream watching leaves float away on the current. Let each of your burdens and distractions flow downstream, carried away by my mercy in that open space. My peace and clarity can settle in when you prepare your heart. In this way, you cultivate an expectancy that heightens your awareness of my involvement in your life. Think of a beloved friend or family member coming for a visit. You tidy your home, set out a place for them, and wait eagerly at the door. In a similar manner, spiritual preparation invites you to watch with anticipation for my movement. Perhaps you will recognize my guidance in a casual conversation, a sudden burst of insight, or an unexplainable peace amid turmoil. By clearing the path, you set the stage for a holy encounter, just as hearts were once ready to see me when I walked among you in the flesh. Yet there is more to this journey than simply removing what hinders you. Also plant seeds of devotion and discipline that foster ongoing growth as you remove distractions, replace them with prayer, reflective reading, or even moments of silent meditation. Let your soul breathe in these intervals of quiet, allowing me to speak through the stillness. John the Baptist's call was not just about turning away from sin, it was about turning toward a better way of living. In the same sense, clearing the debris of life makes room for fresh blossoms of faith, new perspectives, deeper compassion, passion, and a love that moves you to serve others more genuinely. Do not be discouraged if progress feels slow, or if you must repeatedly uproot the same distractions. Hearts like gardens require ongoing care. Weeds may reappear, but with each cycle of awareness and repentance, your spiritual soil grows richer. Remind yourself that I am patient, more patient than you can comprehend. I'm not disillusioned by your humanity. I rejoice in every step you take toward me, even when you stumble. My grace is sufficient to pick you up and set you back on the path. Clarity and lasting change often emerge from this steady, faithful process as you experience the freedom that comes from uncluttered devotion. You begin to see the wonder of my active involvement in your daily life. Sunrises become symbols of my faithfulness. Tasks at work transform into opportunities for silent prayer and relationships. Deepen as you allow my love to guide your interactions over time. You will notice how each yes to me, each choice to clear away what is not essential, expands your capacity for joy and faith. Your world looks different because you have made room for me, and I never take such invitation lightly. John's words echo still prepare the way that preparation starts with a willing heart and ends in a joyful expectation of my presence. My longing is that you would experience the abundant life. I promise, not in the sense of material riches, but in the overflowing peace and purpose that come from living in step with me. Let each day be a fresh opportunity to make space, to offer up your distractions and regrets, and to welcome the transforming power of my spirit in doing so. You reflect the posture of Mary, who made room in her heart for a miracle, and the humility of the stable in Bethlehem, which though small was chosen to cradle the greatest gift of all. So come prepare the way with resolute hope. Straighten the paths of your heart, removing obstacles that keep you from hearing my voice. Trust that in your stillness, I will speak in your surrender. I will act, and in your openness, I will unveil the fullness of my love. This is not just a call to a single moment of change, but an ongoing invitation to let every step of your life be one of readiness. For I am the Lord who draws near, whose voice cannot be silenced by clamor or chaos, and who delights in meeting those who clear a space for my arrival. I speak to you now of a truth so marvelous that it reshapes everything you know. I chose to become human, stepping into flesh and blood with all its frailties and joys. This was no fleeting act of kindness, but a deliberate decision made out of my profound love. I saw the brokenness of your world, the burdens you carry, and the distance that fear had placed between us. And so I bridged that distance not with lofty proclamations alone, but by entering the very fabric of human life. In doing this, I showed that I am not a distant deity, observing from afar, but a companion who walks beside you, sharing your experiences and understanding each pain and triumph. Picture the vulnerability of a newborn in a manger. The one who shaped galaxies took on a form so delicate and dependent in your eyes. This might seem an impossible lowering of status. Yet I embraced it willingly by becoming a child. I demonstrated the depth of my humility, a humility that still longs to meet you in your struggles, your questions, and your doubts. No tear, you shed no smile, that lights up your face is overlooked by me. I know the nuances of human emotion because I have felt them firsthand when grief weighed on me. I wept openly lie when I stood before a friend's grave. My sorrow was genuine when I celebrated at weddings and shared bread with loved ones. My joy was unfiltered, I'm not simply aware of your emotions. I have experienced them in my life on earth. I revealed a God who does not shy away from the imperfections of the world. I walked dusty roads, encountered lepers, outcasts, and the broken-hearted extending compassion without limit. By doing so, I demonstrated that no one is beneath my notice. If you ever wonder whether your wounds are too deep or your regrets too overwhelming, remember that I willingly stepped into the thick of human suffering. This was not a pageant or a play. I embraced the grittiness of reality. My hands touched the sick. My ears heard the pleas of the desperate, and my words offered life to those who felt forgotten. This miracle of incarnation also speaks to the restoration of relationship. Long ago, humanity's connection with me fractured under the weight of fear, guilt, and misunderstanding. People tried countless ways to reach back through rituals, sacrifices, and moral codes, but the gap remained rather than demand more from you. I made the journey myself, bridging that gap from the divine vine side by taking on your form. I opened a door for you to step back into my presence without shame at the cross. I later took on the burden of sin that no human being could ever bear alone, completing the act of redemption hinted at in the manger. This was the cost of reuniting what was broken, and I embraced it willingly out of love beyond measure. Yet I also hope you see the unfathomed able hope that came with my arrival. My incarnation declared that darkness does not have the final say in the small town of Bethlehem, amid poverty and obscurity. I ignited a flame of promise that still burns the world's systems of power, and prestige were upended by a child born in a stable. A child who would one day overcome even death itself, if ever you feel stuck in a circumstance that seems impossible. Let this truth encourage you. I have stepped into impossibility before, and I will do so again. My presence carries a force of renewal that can breathe life into the most barren situations. The incarnation also showcases the vastness of my love, a love that defies the limits of logic. Some wonder why I did not come adorned in regal splendor, demanding homage from every nation that might have impressed minds, but it would not have won hearts. Instead, I came quietly in a way that could be overlooked by those who sought only grandeur. Yet those who were humble enough to look into a manger found the very heartbeat of heaven. Love is gentle and patient, choosing persuasion over force. It invites rather than coerces. My choice to come as an infant dependent on the care of earthly parents was a proclamation of love so radical that it still resonates through time in reflecting on my incarnation. Remember that it was not just an event in the past. It is a reality that continues to shape the present. The same compassion and empathy I showed then I extend to you now when you pray. Know that your words fall on the ears of one who truly understands what it is like to be human, to be tempted to feel weary, and to long for comfort. I bear no illusions about the difficulties you face, temptations, heartbreaks, disappointments. Yet my stance remains unwaveringly open and gracious. I do not approach you with condescension, but with the empathy of a friend who has walked your path and yearns to lighten your load. Let this sink deeply into your heart. My incarnation was the ultimate affirmation that you matter, that your life carries immense worth in taking on human form. I honored the dignity of your own humanity. You are not an accident or an afterthought. My very willingness to share in your mortality declares that every aspect of you, body, mind, and spirit, is valuable to me. Nothing about your daily existence is too trivial for my attention. No question too small for my wisdom. No flaw beyond the reach of my restoring grace. I encourage you to contemplate this miracle often, especially when you find yourself feeling distant from me or from hope. Itself, recall how I chose to be born in a lowly setting, how I walked among the rejected and forgotten, how I suffered betrayal and pain, and ultimately conquered the very forces that aim to destroy the incarnation, is a standing invitation to realize that I am near, closer than your own breath and ed in every detail of your journey. Embrace this truth. I came not just to dwell among you for a time, but to show that my heart forever beats for reconciliation and renewal. Let it reshape how you see yourself and how you love others. If I, the Creator, did not deem it beneath me to share in your humanity, then surely you can find the strength to show kindness, mercy, and patience in your spheres of influence. Let the magnitude of this miracle ignite a willingness in you to extend grace first to yourself, knowing I have redeemed you, and then to those around you, reflecting the love I have freely given. In these moments of reflection, let my incarnation stand as a reminder that you have never been and will never be alone in your struggles. I remain the one who chose to walk in your shoes, to feel the weight of your burden, and to transform your heart through a love that knows no bounds. Though the manger was humble, it signaled a love mighty enough to restore the shattered, to heal the broken, and to draw the wandering soul back to the fold of eternal grace. I speak to you once again, drawing your attention to a wonder so deep that it reshapes how you see yourself, the world, and even me, the mystery of my incarnation. Imagine the boundless scope of my existence, eternal, unlimited by space or time, and then picture how I chose to wrap myself in the same fragile flesh that you inhabit. This was not a pageant or a fleeting appearance. It was a deliberate act of entering into every dimension of human life. Why did I do this? Because there was no better way to whisper to your heart that you are not alone. That I see you fully and love you completely. From the moment I breathed galaxies into being, I have watched over creation. Yet I did not simply observe from some faraway throne. I longed for a day when I could walk alongside you, share your daily existence, and express the fullness of my love in a way you could grasp. Thus I stepped into history, choosing to experience the range of human emotions: joy, sorrow, fatigue, laughter, the warmth of friendship, and the sting of betrayal. If you have ever wondered whether I truly understand your deepest pains, your quiet hopes, or your unspoken longings, remember that I have felt them too. When you bow your head in weariness, I recall my own moments of exhaustion when you rejoice in unexpected blessings. I recall the delight of finding faithful companionship and witnessing lives changed by truth. My choice to walk on earth was not just a gesture of empathy. It was an act of radical restoration. The brokenness that marred humanity's relationship with me ran deep. Centuries of distrust, guilt, fear, and the heavy weight of sin. Instead of commanding you to climb your way back, I descended into your world, bridging the gap, myself, by becoming human. I not only tasted the daily realities you face, but also shouldered the burdens that once separated us. Eventually, my path led to the cross, a place of ultimate surrender where I took upon myself what you could never bear alone. This journey was foretold in the gentle cries of the manger and fulfilled in the agonized words spoken from the cross. Consider the magnitude of this miracle. God becoming man. It defies the usual modes of power and triumph that the world recognizes. In a silent Bethlehem night, the embodiment of divinity arrived in the frailty of an infant. No royal guards, no majestic processions, only the raw, unguarded simplicity of birth among the lowly. I chose that setting to show my heart for the overlooked and marginalized. The incarnation proclaimed that no place is too humble, no life too modest for me to inhabit. Each time you feel unimportant, each moment you worry that your voice goes unheard, remember that I once lay in a manger, reminding the world that real significance often hides in quiet, unexpected corners. As I grew, from child to man, each step was a testament to the fusion of heaven's majesty with earth's soil. I knew the texture of wood against my hands, the tug of weary muscles, and the joy of heartfelt laughter with dear friends. By embracing such a fully human life, I displayed my commitment to comprehending every aspect of your experience. Let this truth sink in when you grapple with life's trials. When grief weighs heavy, or when unexpected hardship steals your peace, I do not merely observe you in these moments. I recall the ache in my own soul when faced with betrayal and loss. My empathy is not a distant notion. It is a real, tangible identification with your every tear. In each interaction I had with lepers, tax collectors, children, and even my own skeptics, I exemplified what grace in action looks like. Those encounters were not scripted scenes. They were the genuine unveiling of my desire to restore broken hearts. If you ever doubt my willingness to forgive, reflect on how I touch the untouchable and welcome those scorned by society. My incarnation proclaimed that no hurt is beyond healing, no sin beyond redemption, and no wound too deep for my love. I did not shield myself from the hardships of life. Rather, I dove headfirst into them, demonstrating a love that persists in the face of rejection and scorn. But the incarnation was not just about addressing pain. It was also about unveiling everlasting hope in becoming man. I infused humanity's story with the promise that every ending can be a beginning. Where the world saw only a carpenter's son, I revealed the power to calm storms, raise the dead, and breathe life into dry bones. And when the world declared it was finished, nailing me to a cross, I turned that moment of despair into the greatest triumph ever known. That same transformative power is available to you now. My spirit dwells among you and within you, reminding you that no darkness is permanent, no obstacle insurmountable, and no brokenness final. The breadth of this love goes further than you can imagine. My incarnation underscores that I am willing to step into every type of human need. I was born amid poverty, wandered without a permanent home, and encountered both reverence and ridicule. In each circumstance, my response was steadfast compassion, proving that my favor doesn't hinge on social status, wealth, or reputation. Wherever you stand, in a palace or a shack, in a boardroom or a back alley, my gaze remains the same, filled with longing to connect. Every beating heart can be a sanctuary for my spirit. So when you reflect on my birth, let it ignite a holy wonder. In you, understand that I chose this path to restore you to the beauty of relationship with me. Unhindered, unafraid, and unconditionally loved. The manger in Bethlehem was no mere symbol. It was the threshold of redemption. A glimpse of a God so enamored with his children that he would relinquish heaven's grandeur to cradle them in compassion. Even now, I stand ready to extend this love, urging you to let it sink deeper than any fear or doubt in my incarnation. I tore down every barrier and declared that you are worth every sacrifice. Let the reality of my humanity and divinity reshape your perspective. You are not wandering through life unseen or unloved. You are deeply cherished by the one who knows the texture of your every emotion, the arc of your every dream. My incarnation continues to resonate through the ages, a clarion call that beckons you toward hope and restoration. As you ponder this miracle, let it lead you into a closer communion with me, eager to pour out love on the world around you. For truly the incarnation was and is the greatest revelation of my heart. A heart determined to bring you out of isolation and into the fullness of everlasting joy. I speak to you now about a treasure beyond the grasp of human effort. The peace I offer, which surpasses is all understanding. This peace does not depend on the circumstances swirling around you, nor does it waver when challenges arise. It springs from my very nature and flows into your heart when you choose to trust in me. The world often defines peace as the absence of conflict or the settling of every dispute. Yet the peace I give is far deeper. It exists in the midst of turmoil, acting as an anchor that keeps your soul steady when life storms rage. Consider how fleeting the world's attempts at peace can be. Treaties come and go, and a sense of security can vanish the moment a new fear presents itself. The peace I offer stands in direct contrast to these fragile temporary solutions. My peace is born of my eternal love and sovereignty, unshaken by any force in creation. I see every detail of your life, every doubt, every unmet longing, every question you carry, even as you wrestle with uncertainty. My peace is available to guard your heart and mind, like a vigilant sentinel, in order to receive this gift. I invite you to surrender the anxieties that cling to your soul. Let each concern you hold so tightly be released into my care. Know that I do not ignore your worries. Instead, I stand ready to bear them on your behalf. Picture the simple act of opening your hands and letting go, trusting that I will uphold you. It might feel risky to relinquish control, especially when troubles loom large. But remember that I am neither surprised nor overwhelmed by what burdens you. My perspective extends far beyond the present moment, and my power encompasses every possibility. Rest then in my ability to bring good from every situation, even those you cannot yet understand. You may wonder how to cultivate this state of trust. Practically one step is to make room for stillness in your daily life. Set aside moments, no matter how brief, to quiet the noise around you and turn your attention toward me. In this silence, allow my spirit to calm your racing thoughts. Sometimes merely pausing to breathe deeply and whisper a prayer of submission can redirect your mind from fear to my presence. By consistently creating these pockets of stillness, you train your soul to remember that you are not alone in your struggles. Over time, you will see how my peace takes hold more readily, accompanying you even when the demands of life press. In another practical way to anchor yourself in my peace is to lean on my promises. In my word, I have given countless assurances of my faithfulness and care. These promises act like a lifeline. When storms threaten to capsize your hope, take them into your heart and meditate on them, letting their truth sink beneath your anxious thoughts. When circumstances challenge you, recall my words. I am the one who never leaves you, never forsakes you, and never fails to keep my word. By filling your mind with these divine pledges, you create an environment where doubt finds less room to thrive and peace can grow. Also learn to discern the difference between genuine concerns and fearful imaginations. Often, your mind can race toward negative outcomes that never come to pass. These anxious speculations weigh heavily on your heart, draining your strength and clouding your ability to experience my peace. When you recognize this pattern, pause and ask me for clarity. I will help you identify what is worthy of attention and what is merely an echo of fear. Practicing this discernment daily frees you from the tyranny of worst-case scenarios, allowing you to rest in the knowledge that I hold your future in this process. Do not mistake my peace for an absence of difficulty. Trials are an inescapable part of life in a broken world. Even so, my peace remains a steadfast companion rather than removing all obstacles. I walk through them with you, inviting you to witness how my grace can transform even the darkest situations. This transformation might not be immediate, and the outcome may not align with your original hopes, but trust that I am working on your behalf. My peace assures you that you are never abandoned when your heart quakes under pressure. Let that very trembling drive you closer to me, where I will cradle you with unfailing security. You will find that my peace extends beyond yourself as well when you live in the calm assurance of my steadfast love. Those around you are also touched by its effect. Your interactions become gentler, your words more measured, and your compassion more genuine in times of conflict. You can bring a spirit of reconciliation, grounded in faith rather than fear. This does not mean you will avoid misunderstandings altogether, but it does mean you carry the capacity to respond with grace, eager to pour out love on the world around you. For truly the incarnation was and is the greatest revelation of my heart, a heart determined to bring you out of isolation and into the fullness of everlasting joy. I speak to you now about a treasure beyond the grasp of human effort. The peace I offer which surpasses is all understanding. This peace does not depend on the circumstances swirling around you, nor does it waver when challenges arise. It springs from my very nature and flows into your heart when you choose to trust in me. The world often defines peace as the absence of conflict or the settling of every dispute. Yet the peace I give is far deeper. It exists in the midst of turmoil, acting as an anchor that keeps your soul saint steady when life storms rage. Consider how fleeting the world's attempts at peace can be. Treaties come and go, and a sense of security can vanish the moment a new fear presents itself. The peace I offer stands in direct contrast to these fragile temporary solutions. My peace is born of my eternal love and sovereignty, unshaken by any force in creation. I see every detail of your life, every doubt, every unmet longing, every question you carry, even as you wrestle with uncertainty. My peace is available to guard your heart and mind, like a vigilant sentinel, in order to receive this gift. I invite you to surrender the anxieties that cling to your soul. Let each concern you hold so tightly be released into my care. Know that I do not ignore your worries. Instead, I stand ready to bear them on your behalf. Picture the simple act of opening your hands and letting go, trusting that I will uphold you. It might feel risky to relinquish control, especially when troubles loom large. But remember that I am neither surprised nor overwhelmed by what burdens you. My perspective extends far beyond the present moment, and my power encompasses every possibility rest. Then in my ability to bring good from every situation, even those you cannot yet understand. You may wonder how to cultivate this state of trust. Practically one step is to make room for stillness in your daily life. Set aside moments, no matter how brief, to quiet the noise around you and turn your attention toward me. In this silence, allow my spirit to calm your racing thoughts. Sometimes merely pausing to breathe deeply and whisper a prayer of submission can redirect your mind from fear to my presence. By consistently creating these pockets of stillness, you train your soul to remember that you are not alone in your struggles. Over time, you will see how my peace takes hold more readily, accompanying you even when the demands of life press in another practical way. To anchor yourself in my peace is to lean on my promises. In my word, I have given countless assurances of my faithfulness and care. These promises act like a lifeline. When storms threaten to capsize your hope, take them into your heart and meditate on them, letting their truth sink beneath your anxious thoughts when circumstances challenge you. Recall my words. I am the one who never leaves you, never forsakes you, and never fails to keep my word. By filling your mind with these divine pledges, you create an environment where doubt finds less room to thrive and peace can grow. Also learn to discern the difference between genuine concerns and fearful imaginations. Often, your mind can race toward negative outcomes that never come to pass. These anxious speculations weigh heavily on your heart, draining your strength and clouding your ability to experience my peace. When you recognize this pattern, pause and ask me for clarity. I will help you identify what is worthy of attention and what is merely an echo of fear. Practicing this discernment daily frees you from the tyranny of worst-case scenarios, allowing you to rest in the knowledge that I hold your future in this process. Do not mistake my peace for an absence of difficulty. Trials are an inescapable part of life in a broken world. Even so, my peace remains a steadfast companion rather than removing all obstacles. I walk through them with you, inviting you to witness how my grace can transform even the darkest situations. This transformation might not be immediate, and the outcome may not align with your original hopes, but trust that I am working on your behalf. My peace assures you that you are never abandoned when your heart quakes under pressure. Let that very trembling drive you closer to me, where I will cradle you with unfailing security. You will find that my peace extends beyond yourself as well when you live in the calm assurance of my steadfast love. Those around you are also touched by its effect. Your interactions become gentler, your words more measured, and your compassion more genuine in times of conflict. You can bring a spirit of reconciliation, grounded in faith rather than fear. This does not mean you will avoid misunderstandings altogether, but it does mean you carry the capacity to respond with grace. My peace operating through your life becomes a light in the confusion and unrest of the world, pointing others toward the source of true security. I want you to know that accessing this peace is not a one-time event, but a continual posture of the heart. You will need to realign your thoughts and surrender your burdens repeatedly. Each day brings new reasons to worry, new problems that seem insurmountable. Yet each day also brings a renewed invitation to trust me. Aresh, take heart in this cyclical process, for it is part of a deepening relationship with me. The more you practice leaning on my promises, the more quickly your soul will return to this place of rest. Above all, remember that my peace is a precious gift. Lovingly offered, I do not withhold it as a reward for flawless behavior or extraordinary faith. Rather, it flows from my character as the Prince of Peace who longs to restore what is broken and soothe what is wounded in you. I stand ready to welcome you into a rest that stands firm when everything else quakes. Let this truth sink into the core of your being. You are held. You are beloved. You are enveloped by the assurance that I am for you, and no trial can ever separate you from the fullness of my enduring care. Rest in that knowledge, and let my peace guard your heart today, and always I speak to you of a posture that transcends sophistication and knowledge, a simple, open-hearted faith that mirrors the wonder of a child. Recall how the shepherds in the fields eagerly heeded the angelic announcement, and how the wise men followed a single brilliant star. These individuals did not have all the answers or even complete understanding, yet their hearts were alive with anticipation. In that spirit, I invite you to approach me without the weight of cynicism, allowing curiosity and hope to guide you forward. Such a childlike stance does not imply ignorance of life's realities. Rather, it infuses them with a warmth and vigor that keeps your spirit from growing jaded when you shift your perspective toward childlike wonder. You rediscover joy in ordinary moments. Every sunrise can become a divine gift. Every gentle breeze an echo of my voice. Even small mercies, a greeting from a friend, a meal shared in laughter, can gratitude propelling you into a deeper awareness of my presence. Think of the first steps a child takes. Each wobble is full of excitement and awe. Likewise, every day offers you steps of faith, each one building on the last. I do not ask you to pretend. Challenges do not exist, but to see them through a lens of hope, knowing that I stand ready to guide and sustain. In this posture, there is a joyful expectancy about what I might do next. Children often live in the realm of possibility. Unburdened by the limits adults tend to impose. They see no boundary too great, no dream too large. When you adopt this openness, you align with my heart, a heart that delights in giving good gifts and unveiling new paths. While your experiences may have taught you caution, I invite you to trust that my love supersedes each disappointment you have faced, even in moments when circumstances remain unclear. Remember how I led wise men from distant lands using the light of a single star. So too will I illuminate your path step by step. If you keep your gaze fixed on me, part of this journey involves accepting that you do not and need not have all the answers. Children readily admit their dependence. They do not feel shame in needing help. Instead, they reach out expectantly, believing that provision will come. My power, contrary to human assumptions, shines most brightly in such humility. When you relinquish the illusion of self-sufficiency, you create space for my strength to flow into the places where you feel weak or inadequate. Indeed, My power is made perfect in your weakness. Not because I delight in your limitations, but because I can demonstrate my love so vividly. When you lay down your pride, you may ask how to nurture this childlike trust in a world that seems intent on hardening. Heart's one practical step is to cultivate a habit of reverent wonder. Allow yourself to marvel at my creation, whether by pausing to consider the delicate design of a flower or by standing in awe of the vast night sky. Each intricate detail testifies to my care, whispering that I hold all things together, including the complexities of your life when you make space for reverence. You silence the clamor of cynicism that tries to reduce life to mere chance. This posture readies you to receive the deeper lessons I long to teach. Another step is to acknowledge eternity as your ultimate context. Children often live in the present moment, unencumbered by worries of what tomorrow holds. Meanwhile, I invite you to live not only in the present, but also with an eye on the life everlasting that lies beyond your earthly journey. When you place each struggle within the perspective of eternity, the weight of your concerns diminishes like a traveler passing through a brief. Of this rebirth, saturate your perspective on your worth. The world attaches value to accomplishment, appearance, and the fleeting accolades of others. Yet your true value flows from the one who formed galaxies and still knows you by name. My fingerprints are on your mind, your heart, and even your imagination. You are a unique manifestation of divine artistry, a living testament to my inexhaustible creativity. No one can replicate the combination of gifts, experiences, and dreams I have placed within you. Let this truth diffuse any lie that suggests your life is accidental or meaningless. To live in alignment with this kingdom identity, allow me to guide you in discovering the calling I have specifically prepared for you. Your calling is not limited to a single role or career path. It permeates every sphere of life. Relationships, community service, personal growth, and acts of compassion. Each conversation, each decision becomes an opportunity to let my love shine through. As you surrender daily, you invite my spirit to shape your words and your actions, reflecting the kindness, courage, and humility that my kingdom embodies. This is no passive process. It requires steady openness, a willingness to see each day as a sacred endeavor. Remember, this rebirth is not an isolated event, but the start of a lifelong journey. Just as a newborn requires nourishment and care to thrive, your spiritual life needs intentional cultivation. Stay rooted in the words I have spoken through Scripture, letting them guide your thoughts and shape your character. Seek my voice in prayer, not as a ritual, but as genuine communion. Surround yourself with fellow believers who can nurture your faith, challenge you, and celebrate the growth you experience. These practices ground you in truth, fortifying your heart against voices that would seek to diminish or distort who you are in me. In claiming your kingdom identity, also embrace the hope of eternity that pulses through your veins. This life is but a moment in comparison to the forever I have prepared for those who love me. Trials and setbacks may seem overwhelming, yet they cannot overshadow the glory that awaits each act of faithfulness. Each spark of kindness and each moment of worship echoes into an everlasting future, knitting together a tapestry that spans far beyond your present understanding. You will see one day how your small gestures of obedience carried significance greater than you dared imagine. Above all, I encourage you not to settle for any lesser version of yourself. Too often, my children compare themselves to others, or succumb to the pressure of fitting into worldly molds. Such comparisons blind you to the special calling I have laid on your life. Stand tall in the freedom my sacrifice offers. Let your heart be courageous enough to love deeply. Serve wholehearted. Lie and dream fearlessly when insecurities whisper that you are too flawed or unworthy. Remind them of the truth: you have been reborn into my kingdom, and my kingdom is unshakable. Walk forward in this rebirth knowing that I journey beside you each step of the way. In your missteps, do not cower in shame, but turn quickly back to me. I am always ready to lift you up in your triumphs. Remember to give praise to the one who set you on this path, and in all things, let my spirit animate your every breath, whispering constant reminders that you are no longer who you once were. You are a child of the King, reborn to live a life marked by grace, purpose, and the immeasurable hope of eternity. Let this reality shape each choice you make and every word you speak, for in these daily acts, you claim to the world that you belong to me. I speak to you now with a spirit of joy, inviting you to let your heart overflow with celebration for all I have done and all I will yet do. Lay aside your regrets and fears, entrusting them into my loving hands as you turn your gaze toward the promise of my abiding presence. Each sunrise is an opportunity to recall my faithfulness, to meditate on the lengths I went to redeem you, and to look ahead with hope to the wonders I have in store. Allow gratitude to guide your prayers and worship to uplift your spirit. For I delight in the heart that rejoices in my goodness, just as I once entered your world. So I will come again. Yet until that day dawns, I remain with you, always, from the first light of morning to the stillness of midnight. Surrender your past, present, and future, knowing that my love does not waver. I invite you into unbroken fellowship, where burdens are exchanged for peace and weariness is replaced by rest. Even now, I prepare a home where all who love me will dwell with me forever. Let this truth shape your days as you abide in my promise and welcome my sustaining presence. Amen. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel to reach 1,000 divine subscribers very soon. Please share this video to your loved ones. Type Amen to affirm. Thanks for watching.